Well, hello there, good night to you all. So, this now will be my review for another fantastic episode of Attack on Titan or Shingeki no Kyojin episode 21, titled Crushing Defeat, the 57 Expedition Beyond the Walls, Part 5. So, well, this episode was fucking amazing. um, Completely fucking amazing, without a doubt. I'd start even before the intro is played. We have kind of a small recap about all the stuff that is happening so far in the expedition, and I don't know if they did remake some scenes, but that scene before the intro, when we see a member of the Recon Forces in that mill rooftop, and then the rotation of the camera following his move with the 3D maneuver gear, well, was fantastic, mind blowing. Like always, they have you show us so far. This was fantastic. Then we go to the episode proper, and we see again Jin and Armin talking, and basically Armin still ponders about what happened in Trust and why they did not pursue their advancement into the central gate. And in the end, he reached the conclusion that someone that was in Trust and basically saw the transformation of Aaron is the Titan. So this kind of narrows even more the identity of the female Titan, and by default, kinda makes all the members of the Recon Forces not guilty. Basically, why? Because the Recon Forces were not in Trust. They are outside. They only appear later on the later parts or near the end of the Battle of Trust, because they were in an expedition beyond the wall. So the female Titan is not one of the members of the Recon Forces or the Survey Corps. Um, if you remember on the last episode, it was kind of referred between the talk between Levi or Rival and Commander Irvin, that Commander Irvin also suspects that the female Titan, the human inside the female Titan, could be a member of the Recon Forces. Uh, and he suspects all the people that become member of the Recon Forces right after the fall of Maria until the last batch of trainees. Uh, and if you understand the previous episode, you will understand that Petra, El, Eldo, and the other guy that also died on the last episode, Gunther, they all of them entered the Recon Forces in that time after the fall of Maria until today. So they were also in the suspect list for being for being the human that could eventually be inside the female Titan. But in this episode, we kinda got the resolution and the not guilty verdict given by the talk between Jean and Armin, that the one that is inside the female titan was a soldier that was entrusted and saw the transformation of Eren, and eventually kind of understands that they are trying to capture him, or this kind of again is reinforced his idea in his mind. But then we go to Eren's group, that is Eren, Olio, Eldo, and Petra, and they are engaged in combat with the mysterious person that killed Gunter in the last episode, and then they kind of reach the illumination that this either is the female Titan himself or is someone that is aiding her. But then they kind of, for a moment, they cease to watch her or to see her, and then we see a big flash and we see the female Titan appearing again and pursuing the group. And at the same time, we have Commander Irvin, Angie, and the others that are on horse, also talking or about hypotheses, and came to the conclusion that they could not put the female Titan in the same league as Eren, because Commander Irvin kind of reaches the conclusion that Eren basically is a noob, is a beginner. He does not have the full knowledge of his Titan abilities or powers he possesses. But he comes to the conclusion that probably the one that is the female Titan, they have more stamina, they have other ways to control their pace of transformations and such, thus implying that they are experienced in using the Titan's power, and Eren is not. So he kind of says to Angie that it was a mistake for them to judge all the possible suspects of humans becoming a Titans, judge their abilities based on what they observed in Eren, because basically Eren just started to use these abilities, and the reasoning is quite good, and Angie also agrees. And then we also have Mikasa and Sasha, they are going to the streets, and then they see after the battle between Eren's group and the female Titan, and in that battle all the members of the group were killed in combat in a very brutal way, but in the manga, if I'm not mistaken, it was even more brutal. But nonetheless, this was plenty of brutal the way they were killed. For instance, Eldo was he was attacking because initially Eren synced in transforming into a Titan, and then again Petra kinda and the others kinda dissuade him from transforming and say for him to trust them and trust their abilities, and they actually show pretty good why they were elite inside the elite forces of the Recon forces, because the way they handled the female Titan, they cut their arms, they kind of corner her, they put her in the defensive, the three working together. So that was quite something, and it showed us why they were the elite of the Recon forces and were members of the Levi squad. But then they kind of try, they blind the female Titan, and they plan to finish her off. But then she kind of basically decides to concentrate his regeneration powers in just one eye, and that's kind of goes in the way about what Erin was talking with Angie that the female Titan and eventually others like her, they can use and control their Titan abilities much more better than Eren can, because Eren is a beginner. So that was fantastic, and then we see that when they were for the finishing blow, the one of the eyes of the female Titan fully regenerates, and Eldo is the first to be struck down, and basically she grabs him and cuts him in his mouth in half. Then we have Petra, and basically she smashes Petra against a tree. And the way they do it in the anime is brutal, but in the manga is a lot more worse than this. And the other guy, Old War, something like that, eventually kinda is able to put the forks of the 3D maneuver gear in on the female Titan's back, and then he goes to the cut, but then she hardened that part where they usually cut to kill the Titans, and the blades break, and then she kinda kicks him and smashes him, so it's kinda kicks and smashes like a cockroach. So it's kinda, and if I'm not mistaken, in the manga is also a lot more worse than this. And then we see Eren seeing this, he kinda return back, and he decides to use his Titan powers because he's thinking about the talk he have with Levi during the going to the point of the entrapment, and basically Aaron recalled that conversation with Levi and decided to use his powers, and then he charges at the female Titan and pretty much kicks her ass pretty bad. But I must say that it gives me the sensation that she, when the Aaron began attacking her, she was surprised by the fierce attack that he made into or onto her, and she is kind of trying to grasp the situation. But this also shows important stuff, that the female Titan, on the contrary of Eren, apparently she retains full conscience or a full state of conscience in his Titan form. Eren, in this episode, it shows some degree of conscience inside the Titan's body, but not completely, or not so well executed as the female Titan does. And then we have the battle between the female Titan and Darren, and that's badass, fantastic, and the soundtrack going on in the battle, it's blow minding, completely blow minding. And then eventually she kind of fights back in a serious way and basically chops literally the head of Eren, and then she kind of bites him in the back and kind of gulps him. But she will not kill Eren, because the goal of the female Titan is basically to capture Eren. And if you are watching the same anime or the same series I watched so far, you will see that all the actions of the female Titan go on the sense of capturing Eren. For what? I don't know. Honestly, to bring him to some place, something eventually, no, I don't know. But the goal is to capture him, and she did capture him in this episode. But then we came Mikasa appearing, and she kind of starts fighting the female titan. And this Mikasa is kick ass, seriously kick ass, and she kind of actually grounded the female titan for a moment. But then when she was pursuing her into attack, Levi comes and kind of grabs her and basically tries to cool her off. And at the same time, the female Titan goes, but she is being followed by in close quarters or almost close quarters by Levi and Mikasa that are at a safe distance, and we see the female titan slowing down or going a lot more slower. I will assume that is a consequence of using his titan powers too much, either in the two transformations, then the end of the first transformation, then fighting the members of the group that is with Aaron or that was with Aaron, and then fight Aaron himself, and then eventually even fight Mikasa. So it's understandable that she could be tired after all that stuff. So, and basically that's when the episode ends with the female titan going off and being followed by Levi and Mikasa. So, and then, well, I already mentioned it, but the soundtrack of this is fantastic, amazing. They put the soundtrack in the right moment, in the right spot. They give even more grandeur to the scene. Um, the animation was fantastic. The fights were amazing. Um, well, it's Shingeki no Kyojin or Attack on Titan, so the level of our awesomeness is on the top. So, but well, but this is my review for episode 21 of Shingeki no Kyojin or Attack on Titan. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay well. Peace. See you soon.